Hi guys, so today's operations management lesson is a bit of an overview into the next key knowledge points, 4 to 7, where we look at strategies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations. As we can see here in the key knowledge points, we've looked at the relationship between operations management and business objectives. We've looked at the key elements of an operating system, inputs, processes and outputs, and we've looked at the characteristics of operations management with both manufacturing and service businesses. You can see here also now from the items that are covered in red, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all to do with strategies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations. So before we actually get into those individual strategies over the coming days and next couple of weeks, we're just going to look at today again the efficiency and effectiveness of operations, how it's tied in, and look at a case study that we can review and look at their operations and their operations system and learn from their knowledge. So efficiency and effectiveness. We look at efficiency. We're talking about, this is a rehash, how well we use our resources. So we're talking about the operation management system and the productivity of that system. So efficiency is how well we use our resources. Effectiveness is, are we achieving our business objectives, the overall business objectives of the organisation? Are we achieving those, and are we achieving the objectives of the operations manager in running the operations management system? That's the effectiveness. So the two of them link in, and we'll cover that a little bit more shortly. Now, the efficiency, we say how well we use our resources. Obviously, resources are the inputs into our operations management system. So land, labour, capital, materials, time, knowledge, all of those things. They're all the resources. So how well we use those resources is how efficient our organisation is. So hopefully this slide here helps you with effectiveness. So effectiveness, we're talking about objectives of an organisation. So we look at an overall corporate objective, and it's normally to increase profitability, increase market share, a reasonable return to the investors or shareholders within the business, and to contribute to the well-being of the community. So a corporate social responsibility angle to their corporate objectives as well. Now, on the right-hand side, we look at the objectives of operations management. The operations manager is running the operations management system to try and meet the overall corporate objective, because the operations management system has the most capital and time and labour tied up in the operations management system, and it produces the good or service that the organisation sells. So for the corporation itself, to achieve its overall corporate objectives, the operations management system has to be run efficiently, and that's the role of the operations manager. So to support the overall corporate objectives, we look at the operations manager. He's looking to increase production or increase turnover within the operations system. He's looking to reduce the amount of money that's tied up in stock. He's looking to reduce the amount of waste that's produced within this operations management system, and he's looking to ensure that outputs meet customer needs. So there's some of the things that he's focusing on in doing his job within the organisation. If he does that, he will lead to increase in dollars, revenue, or reduction in costs, which can lead to satisfaction of overall corporate objectives, being the effectiveness of the operation. So that's how efficiency and effectiveness tie in together. Now, if we look at productivity, which is a measure of efficiency, so we're trying to increase productivity within an organisation. The measure of efficiency, it's the amount of output compared to the amount of input that's required in production. Simple as that. That's the measure. So we're trying to either increase the amount of outputs for every unit of input that we put into the production, or we're trying to reduce the amount of inputs we put in, as in save costs in producing the outputs within the operations management system. And this is as difficult as it gets from a maths equation point of view, guys, but this is how productivity would be written as a maths equation. We've got productivity P equals output being units of production divided by inputs being the units of raw material, capital, labour, etc. That is the equation for productivity. You'd never be asked to actually calculate the productivity, but if you're just aware that it's output over inputs to produce productivity, that is the way that productivity and increasing levels of efficiency is calculated. So to improve productivity, the company needs to either increase its output, so using the same levels of inputs, or it reduces the amount of its inputs to produce the same level of output. Both of those scenarios will increase productivity within the operations management system. And here's another way of looking at it through Ed Rollo. We're looking at productivity and business competitiveness. Productivity, as we've just spoken about, the ratio of outputs produced compared to the inputs required. And then you relate that to the effectiveness of the organisation. That has to relate back to business competitiveness. How do you compete against your competitors in the marketplace so you have a competitive advantage? That's again how efficiency and effectiveness tie in. If you aren't efficient in producing your products and services, you're not going to be able to compete against your opposition. If you are, and you can increase your productivity, so you're being more efficient, you're producing goods more cheaply, so you can market them at cheaper prices compared to your opposition, which will lead to more sales. It gives you a competitive advantage in the marketplace, which then allows you to increase your sales, increase profitability, which leads to achievement of business objectives. So you're being effective through the efficient production of goods through your operations management system. As we all know, you don't just compete on cost, you can also compete on quality. So the same sort of thing. If you increase your levels of quality, which is a strategy which we'll be looking at down the track, operations manager may have the strategy of increasing quality levels, then you can produce a better product. You produce a better reputation in the marketplace, which means you can sell more items, or more importantly, you may be renowned for a better quality product, so you can sell them at a higher price. Again, it's a way of gaining a competitive advantage in the marketplace, and something that businesses strive to do through the efficient running of their operations management system. And finally, here are some of the operations management strategies that we're going to move on to. So this leads us into the next amount of slides on the next day or so. We look at operations management strategies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations. So we're looking at technological developments. How can we include computers in our manufacturing process? We look at materials management. How do we manage our materials efficiently so there is less wastage, for example? How do we improve our quality levels so our products have a better reputation in the marketplace? And how do we limit our waste in the production process? Because waste is a cost, the cost of materials that aren't used in the process but are thrown away. They increase essentially the end manufacturing price of our particular goods within our operations management system. So those four red arrows heading across to the business objectives, they're not pointing specifically to one, they're pointing to all of them. So we're saying that each of those four strategies can lead to achievement of business objectives. So the business objective is to make a profit, to meet shareholder expectations, to increase market share, fulfill a social need. So that's our effectiveness if we're actually meeting those business objectives. And we do that through implementing strategies to make our operations management system more efficient. And it can be a combination of those four strategies of technological development, materials quality, waste minimisation, or it may be one or only one or two or three of them that we use that we think are relevant for our particular operations management system. But that is how the strategies or the efficiency and effectiveness link in, and strategies is the way that we then identify ways to increase efficiency within the operations management system to help meet business objectives. Okay, well, we never got to go to your call because of the virus and us working remotely from home. But I do have a practice sack on your cook, which is a very good practice sack for us to use and to work through while we're doing this area of study. The sack covers all of operations management, so it's got all the strategies parts in it as well. But it has a very good introduction part where it explains the operations management system. So what I've done is I've attached below this lesson the full practice sack. I want you to download that and keep that and review it. So and read the introduction part of it, which explains the operating system. And then each lesson I'll pick out a few questions for you to do which are relevant to the key knowledge point. So today's question, all you need to do are questions 1, 9, 11 and 15A. And then what I'll do is I'll put the answers to those questions up on the next day's slide so you can review your answers, tick them off compared to the ideal answers before moving on to the next key knowledge point. So that's all for today. Enjoy exploring your court, and any questions, please get back to me or Mr. McAllister in Google Hangout. All the best. Bye for now.